It is finally time for me to wrap up the month of June. So, welcome or welcome back to Mr. Francy Reads. Let's go! Yes, hello and welcome or welcome back to Mr. Francy Reads. I am, of course, Mr. Francy, and I'm truly honoured to have your company once again today as I go through my June monthly wrap part 2. I've already put up part number 1, but if you have missed that one, I will quickly tell you about the 8 books that I discussed in that one just by telling you their title, author name, series name, and star rating, and then we're going to continue on with the final 8 because yes, I read a record 16 books in the month of June. I will not be reading 16 in July, although it is going to be a lot closer than it was going to be. If you've seen my July TBR, you know what I'm referring to. I hope that you all had an amazing reading month in the month of June and that you are ready to take on the second half of the year. Can you believe we are already in July? Let me know in the comment section below how your month of June went reading-wise and how you're enjoying the month of July so far. Let's jump right in. I'm going to tell you the stats, first of all, the full stats for the month of my June reading. Then I'll quickly show you the first 8 books, tell you my star ratings on those. If you want more explanation, you just go back to part 1, and then we'll go into the second 8 lot of books. Alright, so for the month of June, as I said, I read a total of 16 books, all of them being cozy mysteries. If you are new here, you may not be aware that I've currently placed a cozy mystery embargo on myself. What this means is that I'm only reading cozy mysteries. So when I say I've read 16 books, all of them were cozies. Because of that, the genres that I specify are more the subgenre of that specific cozy. So, for the 16 books that I read in the month of June, they came under the subgenre category of 5 culinary cozies, 4 animal cozies, 3 B&B in retirement home, so B&B in retirement home, 3 of those, 3 paranormal and 1 Christmas cozy. To my age groups, and all of the cozy mysteries that I read are adult books, so it was 16 adult books that I read. To my lengths, and I read 10 half-tones and 6 novellas, totaling 4,289 pages. To my total stats of star ratings, and I had 8 5 stars, which is just when you read 16 books and 50% of them were 5 stars, it's a good month. So I read 8 5 stars, 2 4.5 stars, 3 4 stars, 1 3 star, and 1 DNF, which we will talk about momentarily. Okay, so now quickly bringing you up to speed in case you did miss part 1. As I say, if you want more, go back and watch part 1, but quickly showing you those first 8 books and what I rated them before we get into the second half. So, the first book that I picked up in the month of June was this book, Brood Awakening by Cleo Coyle. I do not remember what number this is. So, it's a coffeehouse cozy mystery book, and we'll leave it at that because we just don't have the time. I gave this book 5 stars. The next book that I picked up was Nacho Average Murder from the Country Store Cozy Mystery series by Maddie Day, and I gave this book 4 stars. Then I picked up this book, Jealousy Filled Donuts by Ginger Bolton. This is book number 3 in the A Deputy Donut Cozy Mystery series and is the final book I'm reading because it's the final book available on audiobook for this series. But I do love it and I hope that more come out on audiobook retroactively because it really is that good. I gave this one 4 stars. I then picked up Final Cat Call, which is a book in the A Magical Cats Cozy Mystery series by Sophie Kelly, and I gave this book 4 stars. I then picked up Mrs. Morris and the Sorceress by Tracy Wilton. This is a book in the Salem B&B Cozy Mystery series, and I gave this book 5 stars. I then picked up Haunting in the Hallway by Kathy Daly. This is a book in the Inn at Holiday Bay Cozy Mystery series, and I gave this book 2 stars, and if you've seen my TBR video, you know that I'm no longer reading this series anymore, and that's okay with me because it just wasn't the series for me. I then picked up By Familiar Means by Delia James, which is a book number 2 in the A Witch's Cat Cozy Mystery series, and I gave this book 5 stars. And then I picked up Claws of Death, which is book number 2 in the A Cat Lady Mystery series by Linda Riley, and I also gave this book 5 stars. So now that you are all caught up, we're going to move on to the 9th book that I read in the month of June 2025. Grab yourself something nice to eat, something good to drink, and let's begin. Okay, so we're going to start off with my 1 DNF for the month of June, and it was in fact the last book that I originally planned to read in the month of June, which is this book, Wedding Cake Wipeout by Donna Doyle. This is book number 1 in a Molly Gray mystery series. And yeah, so let me just quickly explain why I DNF this book. There's really no point going into the premise because I didn't make it that far at all. The chapters alternate timeline, and while I don't mind that in my fantasies, in my cozies, I don't like it, because in my cozies, I am trying to solve the mystery, and we start off with chapter 1 kind of like in present day, and then we go back like a week prior in chapter 2, then we're back in present day for chapter 3, and it wasn't working for me. It was really messing with my mind. But also our protagonist was very derogatory to a plus-sized person, and once that derogatory moment took place, even though it took place in their mind, once it took place, I DNF'd the book right away. Yeah, if the timelines going back and forth wasn't enough for me to DNF, which it got me very close, that derogatory thought on someone who's plus-sized in a cozy mystery definitely ensured that I DNF'd the book and didn't want to go any further. So it may be the book and series for you, but it just was not for me. So I DNF'd this one, and I did replace it with another one that became the final book that I ended up reading for the month of June. But the next book that I picked up was this book, Cheddar Off Dead, which is by Julia Buckley. This is book number 2 in the An Undercover Dish Cozy Mystery series, which is my F series. So for those of you who don't know, I have an A to Z cozy mystery bingo board where each letter of the speaking alphabet. Each letter in the English-speaking alphabet has been assigned to a series. In order to cross off that letter's prompt, I need to read the first 2 books in that series. Being that this is book number 2, I have now crossed this series off of that A to Z bingo board. Okay, so I gave this book 5 stars, and I have to say that this is why we always give a series a second chance. I didn't absolutely love book 1, but I very much loved book 2. So the series premise for this one is that we follow Lila Drake, who runs an undercover dish business where she anonymously makes dishes for her clients who pass them off as their own in Pine Haven, Illinois, alongside her chocolate Labrador, Mick, who is absolutely fantastic. So in this book, after delivering some food to a client at an elementary school for a Christmas celebration, Lila runs into the man playing Santa himself. They have a lovely conversation. However, moments later, Lila hears a noise, sees a car racing off into the distance, and finds Santa dead. What the heck? Who would do this to such a nice man? Lila is determined to find out, even if she has to do it with a bodyguard by her side. So to my thoughts, this was the reprieve I needed to ensure I will, when I can, continue on with this series. The culinary factor was amped up a million times, which I really appreciated, and Lila only seemed to be dramatic when the moment called for it, so both of those things were concerns for me with book number 1, but absolutely Julia Buckley rectified that in book number 2, which I really appreciated. The mystery was intriguing from start to end, and the reveal really surprised me. A must-read for cozy mystery fans, culinary cozy mystery fans, and I gave this book 5 stars. So the next book that I picked up was this book, A Batter of Life and Death, by Ellie Alexander. This is book number 2 in the Bake Shop I believe, yes, Bake Shop Cozy Mystery Series, and I gave this book also 5 stars. This Bake Shop series is my G letter prompt, and so because this is book number 2, I was also able to cross that prompt off. So far, this has been a great series for me. It's really culinary, and this book included a baking competition, so if you're someone who loves your competitions in your cozies, especially culinary ones, highly recommend this book, but I love this series. Now, the premise for this series is that we follow Jules Capshaw, a baker who works with her mum, Helen, aka Mrs. C, at their bakery Tort. Now, in this book, Jules has been invited to compete in a baking competition that will be televised, but she was offered to join last minute as one of the contestants pulled out at the last minute. Now, if that wasn't odd enough, one of the chefs is murdered, and Jules, despite the warnings about not getting involved, knows she has to be the one to solve the case. So to my thoughts, I loved this book. I love the series so far. It's so culinary, and the mystery in this book was very intriguing. I love the fact that a baking competition was included also, and truly this series is becoming an all-time fave of mine. One of the complaints I've heard about this series is that it's too bogged down in Shakespeare stuff, because where the book is set, I don't exactly remember, Ashland, Oregon. Apparently it's very Shakespearean and very theatrical, and people quote Shakespeare all the time, but that doesn't really bother me. I mean, I'm not someone who enjoys reading Shakespearean works because my mind has to work way too hard to translate to modern day language, but the fact that these people are quoting Shakespeare, it just makes it more theatrical, which I appreciate because I come from a theatre, drama, study background. So that works for me. And also I love my culinary cozies. So for me, this was a 5-star read, and I do highly recommend this series. So the next book that I picked up was one that I was really looking forward to, and I cannot understate how much I was looking forward to reading this book. I was suffering from serious FOMO, fear of missing out, on this series because it wasn't available for me on audiobook, and then finally, miraculously, it became available for me on audiobook. And I was actually really let down, which is so tough when you're really anxiously, not anxious, that's the wrong word, but when you're like very much eagerly anticipating, that's what I'm after, not anxious, anticipating. When you're very eagerly anticipating a series and you read the first book and it lets you down, it's like extra crushing, if that makes sense. But anyway, I'm referring to the first book in the year-round Christmas Cozy Mystery series by Vicky Delaney called Rest Ye Murdered Gentlemen. Honestly, that cover is absolutely gorgeous. And I think that's why I'll never be unhauling the series, because I want to have this cover on my bookshelf. But the book inside, it just let me down so much. I love anything Christmas in my books, so I thought this would be perfect for me, and it just wasn't. So, the premise of this book is, this book and series, is that we follow Mary Wilkinson, that's Mrry, not Mary, which she tells everyone, who owns Mrs. Claus's treasures in Rudolph in New York. She also lives with her St. Bernard puppy, Maddie? What did I write there? Maddie. Sorry, I'm short-sighted. She also lives with her St. Bernard puppy Maddie, which is short for Matterhorn. In this book, Mary is almost ready for the Christmas parade, but for some reason the float she's going to be on is no longer moving. But why? Also, a reporter who has come to Rudolph to do a fun expose of the Christmas town is found dead. So who is playing the role of Scrooge, and why? So to my thoughts, I have to start with the biggest con. This book could have been extremely cozy if it focused more on the cozy theme than the mystery side. This felt like 80% mystery and 20% cozy, and that was tough for me as I mostly look forward to getting to know more about the town, Mrs. Claus's treasures, and how everyone in Rudolph seems to celebrate Christmas, as the series title suggests. As it suggests, year-round Christmas, right? However, this did not really happen owing to the focus being mainly on the mystery. I enjoy and adore Maddie, the puppy, and think the little we got for the town setup was cute. Meeting Mary and a toy maker and other people, I thought that was good. But book 2 for me needs a lot more of the cozy theme side for me to want to continue on. I am reading book number 2 in this month in July, and if it doesn't work for me, I will DNF the series. Just frankly, there are way too many series that I want to get through anyway, so if I'm not enjoying a series, I'm very quick to say, okay, I don't have to continue on. But since this is on my A to Z bingo board under the letter K, I will read book 2 so I can cross off that prompt, and if it doesn't impress me, I'll DNF and read something else. But yeah, a very disappointing average rating of 3 stars for this one for me. And now let's go on a run of books that I absolutely love. The first of which that we're going to talk about is book number 1 in an Essie Cobb Senior Sleuth mystery series by Patricia Rockwell, which is called Bingoed. Oh my gosh, how much time do you have? This was fantastic, except for the reveal. The reveal could not have let me down any more if Patricia Rockwell tried. It's like she had this whole list of things like, this could be the reveal, this could be the reveal, this could be the reveal. And then when, I'm going to go with the last one, the most disappointing one that we can give, which really annoyed me. Because it is the reveal, I can't say what the reveal was or even imply why it disappointed me because it would give it away. But the reveal did really let me down. But in saying that, I love the rest of this book so much that it's still got 4.5 stars, and I am reading book number 2, Papoosed, in July. So please, Patricia Rockwell, can the reveal be good for Papoosed? Please. Because otherwise this was amazing. So the premise of this series is that we follow Essie Cobb, a senior that lives in a retirement community called Happy Haven Assisted Living in San Diego in California. Now, during a game of bingo, one of the residents, Bob, collapses and winds up unconscious between winning the round and standing up to claim his prize. Essie feels there's more to the story, so along with her friends Opal, Marjorie, and wheelchair-bound Faye, Essie dons her sleuthing cap to try and solve the mystery. Okay, in short, this is who I'll recommend this book to. Anyone who loves Golden Girls, the TV show, that was upset when it finished and wants to know what's going on with them now. Despite the fact that we don't follow Dorothy, Blanche, Rose, and Sophia, we might as well be following them just with different names, because if you imagine them older than they were in the show in an assisted living retirement community, you've got this. Our main character, Essie, is absolutely Blanche, like 10 years later. Then we have Opal, which is absolutely Dorothy 10 years later. Then, we have, who was the other one? Marjorie, who is absolutely Rose 10 years later. And then we have Faye, who, despite the fact she's bound to a wheelchair, is definitely Sophia 10 years later. So, if you want more Golden Girls, just switch up the names and read this book, because all of the book, I'm telling you, all of it, till the reveal, everything else is absolutely fantastic. Just be ready, because the reveal is a very big letdown. But this is amazing, and I have not ever seen this recommended anywhere. It is a hidden gem that I highly recommend. I gave this book 4.5 stars purely because of the reveal. The next book that I picked up was book number 1 in the Mysteries of Max Cozy Mystery Series by Nick Saint, which is called Perfect Murder. And this is a very different cover to all the covers I've seen on Goodreads. So there you go. Have a look at this. How cute. I really always want to find the exact cover and edition I have for my Goodreads, and it's just not there. And I've never experienced it not being there before. The book is there, but this edition is not there. So anyway, this was absolutely fantastic. I gave this one 5 stars. So in this book, we follow Max, who is a blorange, which is a combination of blonde and orange mixed cat, who lives with his owner, a human who can understand cats, Odelia, in Hampton Cove, Long Island. His best friends are Odelia's grandparents' cats who live next door, a white fluffball named Harriet, and a tabby named Dooley. Now, in this book, a new cop arrives in town, and there is more to uncover with him than initially meets the eye. That being said, Max needs to watch out for the new cop's cat, a black cat named Brutus, who believes that as his human is a cop, he is the cop of the cats, no matter how much Max disagrees. An initially believed missing writer is also found dead. With all this going on and Cordelia a member of the press, Max knows he needs to step up and work out what's going on around here with the new cop, his cat Brutus, and the murder. I absolutely recommend this book. I thought it was fantastic. So Max is the main perspective, although I would more technically say it was written from an omniscient narration perspective. But it was just fantastic being in the mind of the cat and being introduced to the cat world and the cat sleuthing world. I thought that it was convenient but also good that Cordelia is able to speak and understand the cats so that whatever Max and his friends find out, he can pass on to her, which will help to solve the cases. But this was so much fun that I am absolutely reading book number 2 in July. 5 stars from me. The next book that I picked up, I actually misquoted the series title in June. Forgive me, I don't live in America, and while I know of this place, I said that it was Tuscan Valley, and I was wrong, so I apologize. It is book number 1 in the A Toussaint Valley Retirement Community Cozy Mystery Series by Marcy Blessy. Book number 1 being called Dying to Go, Nothing to Gush About. Oh my gosh. If you are in desperate need of a cozy mystery that will keep you chuckling, this is where you go. I laughed so much reading this book. So the premise of this one is that we follow Rosie, whose full name is Rosafia DeRoche, after her mother's love of Golden Girls, as she arrives in Toussaint Valley's retirement village to spend time with her parents while her father is recovering from surgery. After meeting the odd woman who runs the bookstore, Rosie buys some books and doesn't accept the offer to adopt one of the 4 puppies the woman is looking after. The following day, everyone in town having an issue with this woman the following day, Rosie goes back to the bookstore to find the old woman dead. With pretty much everyone in town having an issue with this woman and Rosie's background as a former reporter, she dons a sleuthing cap to solve the mystery, and adding in a hunk named Keaton, who is a landscaper, and the eventual adoption of one of the puppies, whose name is Barley, you are in for an extremely fun ride. I love this. The idea of having someone who is stereotypically younger than what you would have at a retirement village, being there with good reason to be there. She's there to look after her father, who's just gone through surgery, and all the other seniors around, and her mother is just hilarious, trying to set her up with people and trying to get her doing all these different activities and things. I love that we have a love interest that is not a cop. Hallelujah, can I say? This was just brilliant. And as I said, I kept laughing all the way through. And yes, book number 2 is on my July TV. I think it's called Dying for Wine. And I'm looking forward to a lot more chuckles. 5 stars from me. If you want to laugh, I highly recommend this one. It was so much fun. Thank you, Marcy Blessy. The next book that I picked up was book number 1 in the A Case for the Master Sleuth Cozy Mystery Series, which is so hard to say without teeth. And it is called Cats and Other Calamities, and I gave this book 4.5 stars. Okay. Whew, how much time do you have? I'm reading book 2 in July, so I'm going to tell you that right up front. So all those 4 books, book number 2, book number 2, book number 2, book number 2, all 4, reading in July. That's how much I love them all. So the premise of this one is, in this series, we follow Athos, who is an Alaskan Malamute. Athos's human's name is Victoria Adler. Victoria has gone through a horrible breakup with her ex and decided to go to a resort for some R&R therapy with Athos. While there, they get to know this woman who seems rather skittish and carries a kitten around. Not too much later, the woman is found dead, and in the interim, Victoria adopts the kitten. The kitten, whose name is Pearl, is a little white kitten, and her attitude is so much more than her diminutive size suggests. Concerned about the death of her former human and bonding with Athos over their love of crime shows, the Alaskan Malamute and White Kitten come together to solve the case. And it was everything I could want and more. While the Mysteries of Max series seems to be omniscient narration, this one is definitely done from the perspective of Athos, which was really, really awesome. I love the fact that Athos and Pearl the kitten are able to communicate, even though they're different animals, they can still communicate. And at the resort, they come across a number of other animals that they can communicate with as well. I think the only frustrating thing for Athos, and kind of for me as well, is that because they're animals, they can't really communicate with humans, so it took a long time for Athos and Pearl to try and communicate things with Victoria. But otherwise, this was just absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I love how things were mixed up in the book when compared to standard cozies, given we follow the perspective of a dog, and love the great bond that Athos and Pearl seem to have. One warning, 4 to 6, so somewhere around there, 4 to 6 chapters in this book focuses on a banana spider, and given that I'm an arachnophobe, I did find that to be rather less than even an average cozy, so I docked 0.5 stars for this and want to warn you too. There's a spider that comes up. Yes, the animals can talk to the spider. The spider seems like they are harmless, but it's still kind of weird having a spider that is focused on for 4 or 6 chapters in a cozy, so do be mindful of that. But otherwise, this book was fantastic, and I definitely will be reading book number 2 in July, and I highly recommend it because, oh my gosh, Athos and Pearl, probably one of my 2 favorite characters in cozies of all time. And this one, like the others, doesn't get any sort of shout-out. It's definitely a hidden gem. And book number 8 just came out on audiobook in this past week. So there are so many available on audio if you want to go that route as well. 4.5 stars. If not for the spider, it would have been an overwhelming 5 stars. So after DNFing Wedding Cake Wipeout, I picked up a replacement final book for the month of June, which was this novella, Going Rogue, by Ashley Stoyanov. This is book number 1 in the Cheating Death cozy mystery series, and while I was very much eagerly anticipating this one, just like with the year-round Christmas book, this one very much let me down. I gave it 2 stars. Now, what inspired me to want to read this book is because it's a cozy mystery set in the afterlife, which is so different to any other cozy I've ever come across. I love reading books and watching shows and movies and any form of fictitious media to consume that deals with the afterlife, whether it be upstairs, downstairs, a combination of the both. I mean, I love the film Little Nicky so much because it shows downstairs and upstairs. But yeah, anything that follows the afterlife, it very much intrigues me because I love seeing the way that the creator, whether it be a visual or a reading or an audio way to consume it, the way that that creator fictionalizes what that afterlife experience is. It's just something that always draws me in. So if you know of any other afterlife cozy mysteries that are available on audiobook that you think I will very much enjoy, that explore that cozy side of the afterlife very thoroughly, please do let me know in the comment section below. But this one, it just didn't work for me. In this book, we follow Alexa Cross, a grim reaper hired by death to capture free souls post-mortem. However, of late, there seems to be a pattern with the souls she needs to collect. The latest one, Levi, was killed in his sleep, and Alexa knows who the murderer is. It's the same guy who killed the last soul she collected. Levi is not satisfied not knowing why he had to die, so Alexa helps to solve the mystery of why this killer is killing everyone with Levi's help. So to my thoughts, okay, so the first half of this book was very unappealing and I found myself distracted quite easily. I picked up the book because I thought it would be interesting reading a cozy set in the afterlife, but honestly, despite being a Grim Reaper and technically being dead, our main character Alexa still lives a normal human life, which I did not enjoy. I mean, in the words of Phoebe from Charmed, dude, you're dead. Start acting the part. I mean, I just want her living in the afterlife, not living a human life while being dead. But I loved her interactions with Levi, however, and this is where my interest did pick up. Prior to the reveal, I was going to give the book 3 stars, but then the reveal happened, and honestly, it couldn't have been any more disappointing, and for that reason, I docked a whole other star, so gave this book 2 stars. I think the idea of a cozy mystery set in the afterlife is a good one. I just hope the next book I read with this theme does it in a much more intriguing way. And now for everyone's favourite game that we like to call Please Don't Not Only Crush Mr. Francy, but also Please Don't Fall, because I love books too much and it'll really harm my soul if they do, otherwise entitled Up, 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 Up. These are all the books that I read in the month of June 2025. Can you believe we are now in July and over halfway through the year? I certainly cannot. How did your reading experience go for the month of June 2025? Let me know in the comments section below. But in the meantime, again, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for your absolutely kind and encouraging comments moving forward on this channel. Because I am currently toothless, this channel could have easily gone dark while I was waiting to get my dentures, but you all have just been so amazing, and that has allowed me to keep on filming during what would have otherwise just been a dark time for the channel with no videos at all. So that's all thanks to your love and support that I do not take for granted and appreciate so very much from the bottom of my heart. So thank you. Big hugs and kisses to you all. Letting you all go with peace, blessings, and so much love. Please do be kind, love one another, and spread your sparkling energy all throughout the world. Yeah! And until next time, happy reading. Bye, everyone!